So this is part 2 of your reteaching for decimals. This one I'm going to go over, I'm going to go through expanded form, word form, and standard form. So if you have a decimal, if I were to say, okay, give me a decimal with a 4 in the ones place, we know that the ones place is always right here, okay? So that's the first thing that you need to do if you feel like you're struggling with the places of things is practice drawing yourself a place value chart. Put that decimal right in the middle just like this, and then just go ahead and build 3 places on the one side and then just 2 places on the other side. And the reason for that is this is going to be your ones place, your tens place, and your hundreds place. But over here, we're going to label the full word tenths. Remember that. And then this is the hundredths. Okay. So if you are having trouble with the place value of decimals, this is what you need to do every time in order to build a good foundation for yourself on what the place values are. So if I were to say give me a 4 in the ones place, you'd put the 4 in the ones place. And I were to say give me a 2 in the tens place, and then give me any number in the hundreds place, you could put whatever you wanted there. So I'm going to put 7 because that's my favorite number. Then if I were to say standard form, guys, is just the regular number. Okay, so standard form is just where your it's just a regular number. So it just would be 4.27. That's the standard form. Okay, and then if I were to say, okay, now write that in word form. Word form, that should give you a little hint. The word word is in there. Okay, another way that you might hear it is number name. It's the same thing. They just math people like to trick you up and use different ways of saying it. So number, name, and word form are the same thing. Okay, so let me color code that a little bit. So now we're going to do word form. So this is the standard form. Okay, and now we're going to do word form. So word form would be when we write it in words. So we would just say 4. And then the word and for the decimal. Okay. And then we put our decimal. So we know we don't say 27. We say 7. So you just say that. And then you just end it with whatever place the last digit is in. So since it ends in the hundredths spot, that's what you write. Hundredths. As simple as that, guys. Not complicated. You put the whole number, the word and for the decimal point. Okay, the whole number, the word and for the decimal point. You put the number that you see, behind the decimal point, and then you end it with whatever place that decimal ends in. So if it ends in this hundredth spot, if it's the last digit in the hundredth spot, then it's hundredths. If there was no 7 here and it just ended in the 10th spot, then it would be 2 tenths. And it's 27 hundredths. The tenths you do not need to put in there because it's inferred that it's 2 tenths with the number 27. Just like if I were to say 27 is a whole number, I know it's 2 tens because it's together, 20. Okay, so that's our word form. Now we're going to do our expanded form. So again, pause the video, talk about what I'm talking about with somebody at home, practice with another number, okay? So expanded form is simply where you expand the number out. So we're going to use the same number, we're just doing it in 3 different ways. So you would just simply put 4, because it's a whole number, then your plus sign, okay? Then the next digit, okay, so we have this, and then we have the next digit is a 2, but it's 2 tenths. You have to put a decimal point. But you can see the decimal point's right next to the 2, so that's how you're going to write it. Then our plus sign. Then is the 7. So if we were to pull this apart, it would be a 4, a 2, and a 7. But you have to put the 4, because it's 4 ones. You have to put a decimal point and a 2, because it's 2 tenths. And then this one is 700. So we want a placeholder because it's moved over a place. Okay, so we want a 0 here to hold the place of the 2 because we're pulling it apart. If we think about it in money terms, like I kind of said in that one flip grid, it's 4 whole dollars, right? 2 dimes and 7 pennies. So if I were to expand that out and I were to set it out in change, I'd have $4 bills, I'd have 2 dimes or 20 cents, and it would be written like this. You could also write it with the 0 behind it if you want. It works either way. So just so you know, it works either way, either of these. And then 7 pennies, this is how you would write 7 pennies, or 7 cents. You would have 7 cents. If I were to put the 7 behind the decimal point, that would be 7D. So that's why it has to be written like that. So take this, pause the video, try to use a different decimal with somebody at home, practice it. You watch the video as many times as you need. But this is how you write standard word, or number name is what it's also called, in expanded form. Sometimes standard form, I know it's confusing, and this is not my doing. This is the math people of the world. Sometimes standard form is also called base 10 numerals. So you got to know these mean the same thing. It's just a fancy way of saying a regular number. So word form and number name is the same thing. Base 10 numerals and standard form is the same thing. Expanded form has only one name at this time. So how's that? I hope that this helps. Watch it and then use it to your advantage to before you take that retake.